Good evening, boys and girls. It's Tuesday night, Tuesday the 13th of July 2021. A very good evening to you. Is that unlucky? 13th of July. Is it only Friday? I think it's only just Friday. Fridays the 13th that are unlucky, aren't they? Tuesdays the 13th aren't unlucky. Oh, I haven't had an unlucky day, really. It's been all right, you know. Oh, what's that smell? Oh, it's a nice smell. I'm attracted to my text messages. It's Mark Bowles. There you are. Look, I actually smelt your pleasant smell, Mark, before we even saw the message. There was like a smell coming from my text service over there, and it's your little smiling face watching that TV screen for another night of boredom because you can't think of anything else to do. Evening to you, Mark, and indeed everyone else. Hope you're well. We find out. I only discovered the other day that Jason Hughes does banger racing. Now, he sent this in a couple of shows ago, and I've not got round to it, so I was determined to start with it, because I always appreciate you sending in photos. Sometimes we don't always get to them. Sometimes I kind of put them to the side and we've moved on. Do you know what I mean? But I'm determined to get this on for you, so I'm always appreciate you sending in any photographs. And Jason sent these in. Look at the state of that car. Dear me. Honestly. He sent an email in 8th of July, you know, it was about a week ago now, isn't it? He said, hi, Chris, what's left of the Vauxhall Amiga after Monday's night's racing at Taunton? So there we are. I mean, I'm not being funny. Maybe you should have some lessons in driving, dear. Look at the state of that. I know they're supposed to be old bangers, but no need to take them home in that terrible state, is there? What do you do with that then? What happens to that car now it's like that? What's that say on there? Old what? Old slut. Oh, well, it's an SK, is it? Old. It's a similar thing to what some people call me sometimes. Yes. Old skank. Is that what it says there? Hey, yeah, look, that'd teach you to turn right without looking in front of you first, wouldn't it? Eh? What a terrible state that car's in. I mean, I thought mine had a couple of dents in it, but Jesus, what's going on with there? Seriously, have some advanced driving lessons. It might help you a little bit, my love. All right. Anyway, I hope you're well tonight, gang. You can send us a text if you want to, 07451 287 337. Okay, 07451 287 337. Or you can email me if you want to, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, and a little bit later on we'll open our little phone line just in case anyone wants to call in, and that'd be cool. I've been swimming today back at the Boston Leisure Centre. As you know, I started swimming again last week at the Bracknell Leisure Centre, where the house is, and I thought I'd try the Boston one as well. Managed to get down there. 10:30 is the time, so literally as soon as the radio show finishes, I shut down the computers, get some bits and pieces, jump in the car, and off I go. I got there about 25 to 11, but that was okay. And you get an hour. The showers, you're not allowed to use the showers at the moment. Of course, that may all change next week when we have the open up days, sort of new things happening and people not wearing masks. I don't know if you're going to be wearing a mask or not, but I think I would like to keep the social distancing. I really would, you know. I don't like that people grabbing me all the time, unless, of course, they look like Mark, you know, to be honest. You know, actually, I saw a picture today of Gary Ross as well. You know, Leslie, I'd be a bit worried about that. He's quite good looking, isn't he, Gary Ross? Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of him before, but they was particularly good pictures with Union flags on the wall. I was most disappointed not to be able to see my clock on the wall anywhere. You could have at least had that in the background, dear. God, you know. But I have to say, Mark has got the edge over on you, so you know what I mean. You know, only if he doesn't want me, you can be second best. You don't want to be second best, do you? Anyway, so got to the pool, ran about 25 to £4.20 it is, which isn't bad, is it? £4.20 for an hour's swim. I think I told you, if you sign up for it, it's £25 a month. Okay, which is fantastic if you're going all the time. But I'm only kind of up here. I'm not up here every week anymore. You know, that whole travelling up and down and that business going on there. So it's kind of once every 3 weeks. But even saying that, if I'm up here for a week at a time, if I was to go 4 days, so that's 4, 8, 12, 16, right? And then I did another 4 days the next time I'm up, that would take it to 32 quid. So on pay as you go, whereas if you sign up, it's 25 quid. So that would be cheaper. I'm kind of considering doing that. More likely, I'd go 5 times a week. You know, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, not Friday because it's a bit tight with time. Certainly here, I have to leave here very early on a Friday to get to work, sort of 2:30 in the afternoon. Taking it fairly easy, you know, so I probably won't do that. But nice pool. It wasn't over busy. We certainly were able to go up and down, you know, without too much problem. I will say, this pool, they only have one pool there. It's big, not as deep as the Bracknell one, but then I don't dive in, so that's pretty irrelevant, really. But it does have the edge where it comes to heating. Okay, this particular pool, you can get in and it just doesn't feel cold. Always feels cold when you go in the main Bracknell Leisure Centre swimming pool, only for about half a length, and then you're okay. But this one just doesn't feel cold when you get in it. So I have to write them a letter, dear. You know, please turn the temperature off. You know, things were standing erect while I was getting in that Bracknell Leisure Centre. It's very embarrassing. Really is. Anyway, managed to do that. Came back home here, had some of my campfire stew, which I did yesterday. The entire caravan smelt of spices last night, much to the point that my nephew's wife, when I asked them last night, you may have seen the makeup video that the children did on me last night. It was great fun. My nephew's wife asked me if I'd been to an Indian restaurant because I was just smelling of spices. So I would imagine the whole caravan, but you open the doors and it soon goes away. So I had some of that this afternoon. And I'll be honest with you, then it was about 1 o'clock and I was pottering around, really struggling, looking for something to do. I was bored. Bored to tears this afternoon because at 1 o'clock it's a bit... Once you've had your dinner, you know, I don't like to go too far once I've had my dinner and it's sitting on you like that. So you can't go for a long walk. I suppose I could have gone by the river and sat there for a while. I was bored this afternoon. Bored. You know, it's not like I've got a garden to deal with and stuff like that. So anyway, so I went to bed and I got up again. I have a question to ask you. Do we have any air conditioning experts here? Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with it, right? Here's the thing, okay? Last night, I thought I'd just have a little check of my air conditioning and I pulled down the flap, okay? And I thought, what's that there? There's a slug. There's a slug coming out of the vent where the cold air comes of my air conditioning. How the bleeding hell did that get there? I've never seen a slug in here. In the 3 years I've had this caravan, I've never seen a slug. I've seen spiders. I've seen a couple of beetles. I've seen wasps. I've seen flies. And I've seen a millipede. A millipede in the toilet. You know the toilet block that you hang on the side of the toilet, right? So that the smells, particularly, I don't like to say any names, particularly when certain people sit on that toilet. I have a little smelling thing there. And on top of that, last time I was here, was a millipede. Where's that come from? Is it crawling through the pipes or something like that? Well, last night, it was a slug. Just as I was going to bed, I thought I'd just have a little quick look. I got my torch. I don't know why I did it. Got my torch. I just have a little shot, pull that flap down, see if there's anything in there. And there was. There's a bleeding slug in there. And where it had walked or slid, it was yellow. Anyway, I picked that up with a piece of toilet paper. That went straight down the toilet. Where on earth has that come from? Is it climbing up? Can they climb up? I have no idea where that's come from. So that's a bit worrying, really. I mean, I don't want to wake up one night and, you know, there's slugs pouring out of this air conditioning, ending up falling onto... I could swallow one. There could be a slug inside me at the moment. This show could tonight turn in to a version of Alien. Remember that film? Where that creature jumped out of his... Well, I think there's something in there at the moment, to be honest. You know, when that creature jumped out of the stomach? Awful. What if that happens to me? I could be sitting here and I'll get a bit of a rumble in the stomach and a slug comes bursting out and slides across there. Won't look good, will it? Oh, don't start moaning about the caravan. The battery's dead. Guess what happened? Yeah, I left the batteries on again. That's one thing I keep doing is leaving the batteries, leaving that switched on. Because you turn all the lights out in this little room, and you don't realise that one's still on for some reason. Never mind, I'll get some more. It'll be on for next time, okay, my dears? Oh, don't you moan a lot. Anyway, so that was my swimming. Any idea where that slug come from? Because I'd love to know. I'd love to know. Send us a text, 07451287337, or an email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Good evening to Lee Toby. Hello, Lee. Emailing into the show tonight, who says, evening, Chris, love the videos of you and the children. Nice to see them enjoying themselves. Oh, it was great fun yesterday. Great fun, except when, when we finished, I was wanting either of them, really, to take the makeup. I said, well, what do I do? How do I take this off now? Oh, I've got special stuff. Special stuff. Right, okay. Well, where is it then? Oh, no, we're not going to do it. And I had to push Evie into removing my makeup for me. I said, well, just give us the stuff and I'll do it myself. Nope, she had to sit on me, so she sat on my lap. And she's doing it very careful, actually, doing this with these simplex or simple wipe things, wiping this stuff off, and the lipstick. Oh, it's awful. Awful. I don't know if you found that, any of you found that attractive, perhaps, the makeup business going on yesterday, did you? Eh? Over on the text messages, a very good evening to Gary Ross. Good evening, Gary. Hope you're well, Gary. Evening, Gary. Hope you're feeling dandy. Mark wants to know if you're feeling rather randy. Always. Always. I just hope he is. He sends a text in. Good evening, lover boy. It's funny, I could actually smell that text before I actually went on the text service. And so it smelled a beautiful like of roses and things like that. Evening to Diane Jeb. Good evening, Diane. Hello. Evening to Fran Green. Good evening, Fran. Hello to Rachel Wheatland. Evening, Rachel. There's our Sherry. Good evening, Sherry. Hello to Chris and your lovely viewers. Can't wait to watch your show as usual. There must be something better in your life than watching this old crap, Sherry. Be honest. I mean, Holby City's on right now. That's good. It's better than this. It's better than this. Evening to John Parrish. Evening to John Parrish. Good evening to Andy. Hello to Andy. Andy says, good evening, Chris. I have a question for you. Will you be binning the face mask next week? I'm still going to be wearing it on public transport and busy places after all these COVID infections. I just don't trust people anymore. Been loving the nightly videos with your niece and nephews. It's great niece and great nephew, actually. It's good having you on 7 nights a week. Oh, come on. You wouldn't want me on 7. You'd soon get bored. You would. You'd absolutely... I mean, look at the numbers, dear. They're getting bored now. We've probably lost half the audience in the first 2 minutes of what's on here. But never mind, as long as we're happy. That's all that matters, all right? Face mask. I'm likely to probably keep wearing it in situations. Supermarkets, yes. At work, well, I tried... I had this stuff I spray up my nose. I think I mentioned it a while ago, called Viralese, okay? Which is supposed to stop COVID and other... flu-type infections in its tracks, literally. Yeah, so you spray it up there, and for 4 hours, nothing can get in. In actual fact, you can actually spray it afterwards as well, and anything that's got up there is instantly killed. Does make your nose a little bit stinging when it goes up there, but that goes away within a few seconds, to be honest. So I've got that. Supermarkets, yes, I will continue to have my mask on. Public transport, well, I don't really use it. Occasionally, I go on a train. I love going on trains. I love it. And there, I will indeed probably wear a face mask on there. Trouble with trains, you can't open the damn windows anymore, can you? You know, they're all sealed up. I don't know why they do. I suppose it's because people would open them even with the air conditioning on, I suppose. There are no windows to open on those trains anymore. It's most annoying. Mind you, how many times was you on a train or a bus? You'd open the window and the bloke behind you would close it. Then you'd open it and then it would close. Perhaps that's why they did that. So yes, I like to think I will certainly continue with my face mask in certain places, my spray up the nose thing, and definitely the social distancing. You know. Sorry, can you move away a little bit, please? Yeah. Some people are offended by that. I don't know why. You know. Just because you want to grab someone doesn't mean they want to be grabbed. Just how it is, isn't it? Anyway, thank you. Good evening to Maureen. Evening to you, Maureen. Maureen's in London. Hello, Maureen. Jason Hughes is there. There's Jason. Thank you, Jason. So saw your pictures of your cars there. Sherry says, we're both addicted to your show. John said slugs are attracted to the most humid air in the air conditioning unit. Okay, thank you, John. But how did it get there? How has that slug got to my internal part of my air conditioning? Has it crawled up a pipe or something? I know I've got a pipe going outside, and I think that drips. I never really looked, actually. I think that's for condensation, isn't it? Something like that. So I don't know if... actually, I might ask my nephew, but my nephew, he came round once when I wasn't here because I had this noise going on in here, and he said he got it open and lifted something, and he could see the little hole going down where it drips, and he said it wasn't blocked, but not quite sure how that works there, really. Luke... Chris, is Roy Eyre from karaoke? Haven't seen him for a while. Roy, yes, he's okay. He has actually been a couple of times. Luke, perhaps you didn't see him. Not the last couple of weeks. He's got a bit of a problem with his ears at the moment. He's got a bit deaf. He's gone a bit deaf. I mean, he's well into his 70s, Roy. He's a lovely chap. He really is a lovely chap. But he has got a bit of a problem with his ears at the moment, so that's why he hasn't been down. Don't know if he'll be down this week or not. I'll probably give him a ring tomorrow. I've got his phone number. And good evening to young Ollie K. Good evening, Ollie. Hope you're well on this, what is it, Tuesday night, isn't it? Tuesday the 13th of July. Here's something I'd like to ask you. And that is your house. Now, I don't suppose you've got a massive house, a bit like... I mean, here's my house, for example, you know. That... That's my... I mean, it's nothing special. It's an ex-council, as you can see. I've got a small pond there, you know, just for fish and things like that. And now and again, I have a little meal outside, just on the right-hand side there. Okay, as you can see, I've got a hot stove as well. That's where the chimney is. That's my bedroom. That's where the show's coming from. You see where the blind is? That's where the show comes from, that room there. Okay? Not really. No, that is the house in Dallas. Now, on the radio show this morning, I was asking you, what famous house from the television or films would you like to stay in? We got various different answers. South Fork, Little House on the Prairie, the Flintstones cave, and the little hole where Jerry from Tom and Jerry lives. They were my ideas of somewhere to stay. But other people rung in. I think John Parrish mentioned the house where they did Psycho. He said, although don't stay in the shower room, if I remember rightly. Who else now? I can't remember. I know Fran said something as well. Where did Fran? Let's see if I've got it here in front of me. Might have that there. Fran mentioned... no, I can't see that now. I can't see where Fran... I'm sure Fran mentioned something as well where she'd like to stay, or someone else mentioned where they'd like to stay. But tonight's question is, if you could do anything to your house, what upgrade would you have? What would you like done to it? Something perhaps that you could never afford, okay? Maybe you've got this idea in your head of this thing that you want to do. Maybe you can never afford it, but it doesn't matter because you've got an imagination, haven't you? This is where it's wonderful to be children. They don't actually need to buy the thing. They can just imagine it and they're happy with that, which is great when it comes to Christmas time. Uncle Chris, what have you got me for Christmas? You just imagine whatever you want and you can thank me later. Do you think I should try that one this year? I think I should try that. Because Disney say that. It's all about imagination, isn't it? Ollie, how would you be if your dad said to you at Christmas, when you say, what Christmas present can I have? And your dad says to you, right, you can have anything you want in your imagination and you can come and thank me later. How would you feel about that? Does that work for you at all? So your house, where your house is, whether or not you own your house, doesn't matter, rented, bought, whatever. If you could do something to your house, what upgrade would you do to it? Ollie's already answered here. He says, knock the wall through from my room to my sister's so I get a massive room and an ensuite. And she's got her own toilet and bathroom and all that. Wow. Kick her out, Ollie. Is she older than you? I would assume she's older than you. Why has she got to have the bathroom? Oh, I wouldn't have any of that, Ollie. I'll be having words about that, mate. What would you like to do? Anyone? You can call in if you want. Phone line's open, 020 8144 3477. Or text your answer, 07451 287 337. Or you can email chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, your answer. You can have anything done to your house at all. What would you like done? I asked this because there's a story in the Daily Mail today. Holly Willoughby and her husband Dan Baldwin. What does he do? Should I know him, Dan Baldwin? Is he like a famous person as well? Because them celebs, they tend to stick with each other, don't they? You know, they marry because they like the look of someone, which is always a mistake, you know. Always a mistake. Although I'm sure it wouldn't be a mistake in the case of Mark Bowles and me. But sometimes it is with celebrities, you know. We're not really stars, are we? Well, I mean, I am. Mark could be a star as well. I quite like the idea of him sitting there next to me while we're doing a show together. You know, Tina can watch at home, his girlfriend, well, it'd be ex-girlfriend by then, and cry. Perhaps we could have a little camera in Tina's house. And we could go to her now and again when she suddenly bursts out into floods of tears because he's sitting here. Would you like something like that? You know, something a little bit special on the show. Anyway, Holly Willoughby. The reason I asked the question is that Holly Willoughby and her husband Dan Baldwin faced more setbacks in their home renovation after another planning application was rejected. You may wonder, a lot of these stars, they buy these houses, right? And they want to do something to them, but it doesn't really fit in with their surroundings. Now, there's a really good example of this. There's a road in London, North London, Bishop's Avenue it's called. Right? And this road lives, or at least the houses of multi-millionaires. You and I would never have a chance of living somewhere like that, unless, of course, we won the National Lottery. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, would you like a lucky dip? Thank you very much. I didn't do that till they put it up 50 pence, dear. £1.50. It was all right when it was £1, dear. £1.50. So I don't do that anymore. Someone has to win, though. Yeah, I'm a great believer in it. Oh, don't do that. You'll never win. Somebody has to win. Why shouldn't it be you? Why shouldn't it be you? I mean, don't go mad if you're going to do the lottery. All right? I've been in shops. I'll never forget coming back from Cleethorpes one night. I'd just been doing a karaoke night a couple of years ago now. And I popped in the garage on the way home, as I always did, for a bottle of orange juice, a bag of crisps and a sandwich for the way home, because it's about 45, well, about way back to here, actually, because it's about 45 minutes. And in front of me was a lad, clearly who didn't have much money, right? Dirty. We had the grey trackies on and all that, but they were all really dirty. Like, as in very dirty, right? And there was a bit of a smell. No disrespect to him. Some people just can't afford this. But he clearly thought. And he spent 35 quid on tickets. I don't think they were National Lottery. You know, the ones that come out on a little cardboard on a roll. 35 quid. And some people are... I don't think you should spend money on stuff like that if you can't afford to lose it. And I don't think he could afford to lose it, really. I'm sure most of you can afford sort of £1.50, £1 or whatever on one lottery ticket, maybe a fiver, you know. But 35 quid, which was 35 quid, and I looked at him and I thought, you can't afford to be giving away that 35 quid. But a little bit here and there is all right, isn't it? And then you might win it, and you could buy a house on the Bishop's Avenue. The thing is with this road, these houses are owned by multimillionaires. And they knock down what's there and they build their own idea of what is a great house. And it looks blooming awful. There's some really strange looking places there. And it's almost like, I've got this money so I can do this. And it just doesn't look nice. Completely different. You go to a little place perhaps in the Cotswolds or Yorkshire. some lovely little places in Yorkshire, and you get that little row of houses, all looking the same, all made out of like a stone material. There's a place around here like that on the way to Lincoln. Branson or Branston, one or the other. That's made out of all these stone places, and they look really nice. They're very tasteful. The Bishop's Avenue is anything but tasteful. And you go up this and you end up sort of around, it's around the Hampstead area. Awful places. Dreadful. And it's because they got money. Oh, I'll just build this. Oh, that'll look fantastic. No, it doesn't, mate. It looks awful. Awful. Well, Holly Willoughby, they want to do something to their houses. The grounds for refusal relate to fire safety and design and heritage reasons. So presumably they've done something that doesn't sort of in keep with the area. Why do you want something that sticks out a mile? I mean, you could argue I've done that with this caravan. I put little fairy lights all around it. All lights up at night. Very pretty. Very pretty. The TV presenter, that's Holly Willoughby, and her husband want to add a first floor side and rear extension to their $3 million 6-bedroom home in southwest London, which they purchased in 2011. Now, I don't know where this is. I'm thinking southwest London. What's the posh bit of southwest London? Got to be Wimbledon, somewhere like that, I would imagine. Wimbledon. I might be wrong, I don't know. The couple had previously submitted an application in 2016 for a 2-storey building attached to the main house, but it was refused by the local council. And it doesn't say where they are. On the other hand, I wouldn't expect it to. You don't want to know where these celebrities live. It's not fair on them. People turning up on their front door. I don't care really how much I don't think of a celebrity. Katie Price, Keith Lemon. I've no feelings for them at all. They don't do it for me. But on the other hand, it's a bit unfair, all these people turning up on their doorstep with cameras. Oh, mind you, some of them like that, don't they? But you either like it or you don't. You can't turn these newspapers on and off as you feel like it, like Harry and Meghan. 1 minute they want them round there, the next minute they don't. You can't turn them on and off. You either want them or you don't. It says, despite the changes, residents, where Holly Willoughby was, submitted several objections to the plans, and it was ultimately rejected again by the council, The Sun reports. One objection from a neighbour read, due to COVID, I am now permanently working from home, and the noise and the disruption this will cause is enormous. Must be disappointing for the home owner, I suppose, really, who wants to do something to their pride and joy. What other bigger purchase would you have other than a house? I mean, my home down in Bracknell years ago, and if you've been with the show a long time, it's about 5 or 6 years ago now. The I am end terrace, right? It's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 4, okay? And it was a brick wall, right? End of house, brick wall. I decided to have 2 windows put at the top. One in my bedroom, so I now have a window there and a window there, and one in the hallway. And my God, the difference that made. That especially, more so the hallway than the bedroom. Because the hallway upstairs was always a bit dark. I put that window in, and it wasn't over expensive. It really wasn't. I was very pleased with the price they charged. How quickly, I never had to call them back afterwards because there was something wrong. Very, very impressive. But the difference that made to the hallway was unbelievable. But the council, oh, Christ. All right? You have to send them 125 quid, it was at the time. And what you had to do was, it's ludicrous, really. You had to provide a picture of what it would look like. So I went back to the window people after finding this out. And I said, what are they talking about? You haven't got to do all that. I said, look, it's the council. I'd rather do it. They're telling me to do it. So I'd rather... He said, no, Chris, you don't have to do that. Don't pay them £125. All it is getting the money out of you. I said, I'm going to do this, okay? I'm going to have to do this because I don't want them to come back to me afterwards and say, you should have done this. Now you've got to brick your windows up. So we did it. So he contacted the council and then he come back to me. He said, well, I've rung up... I contacted the council and I'll send you a little picture. What they asked you to do, what they wanted to do, right, was send them a picture and superimpose on that picture the 2 windows. Thank you very much. That's £125, please. But, you know, I've got the bit of paper now. Yes, we give you permission to do this sort of thing. I was very pleased. Very pleased with those windows. They're not Anglian windows. When I first moved there, 1996, I think it was, I moved to Bracknell. When I first moved there, one of the first things what I did was do the windows. And it was expensive. I went with Anglian windows, probably the most expensive ones you can go with. But you know what? They're still fine. That's over 25, well, coming up to 30 years now. It's 96, 06, 16. Is it 96? The year Diana... no, it wasn't the year Diana died. The year Windsor Castle caught fire. That one. Because we actually went past it in the van. It was all flames coming out of it. You know. That was the year I moved there. So I think we're coming up to 30 years now. So the windows are about 28 years old and they've never blown or anything like that. You know, sort of got the mist in between the two. Money well spent. Well, actually, 2 of the windows in the caravan have blown. The one here in the studio is, but here I have the curtains closed all the time, so it doesn't really bother me. But the one in the kitchen is blown, where the sink looks out onto the field, so I might get that done. I was talking to my lovely neighbour. Jeff's down at the moment. Jeff and his wife, Linda. Lovely people. He was here the other day with his grandson as well, and his girlfriend. So they were all staying next door. And he told me he got his windows done, and the sealed unit to replace it, he said cost about 60 quid, so that's okay. I've no idea sometimes how much stuff costs. I usually overestimate it literally by hundreds, sometimes thousands, you know. How much is that going to cost? About £1,000? No, 60 quid. Oh, that's all right. I'd be very easily ripped off. No, I wouldn't actually. Someone else says, I don't pay my taxes to get this level of disruption. It's not quality of life. I mean, I don't know how long a first floor side and rear extension would take to build. Trouble is, it's all on the builders as well, isn't it? You know, or I've got to go off to another job. We'll be back tomorrow, mate, and then you don't see him for weeks. Dreadful having builders in. Dreadful. The council stated it refused the application because the plans were unsympathetic and harmful to the appearance of the property, which is fair comment. The document read, the proposal, by reason of its combined height, citing width and depth, contributes to an excessive scale and level of massing which would be an inappropriate and unsympathetic form of development, harmful to the character and appearance of the host building, causing less than substantial harm to the character and appearance of the conservation area. I mean, what a mouthful that is. That's come from the council, that is. They've appealed the decision, of course, you know. But, you see, I can see both sides to this. They must be very disappointed. They've got a £3 million house, you know, something that we never have, will we? You know, £3 million house and not allowed to do what they like to it. On the other hand, the neighbours don't want this monstrosity sticking out a mile, really, do they? You know, that's how it is. What would you have if you could have anything attached to your house? Andy says that Holly's husband is a producer on This Morning. Oh, is he? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know what he did. Thank you, Andy. Rachel says, I think I would turn the loft into a big bedroom with a glass roof. How lovely. I would have the bed one end so I can look up at the stars and a big telescope the other side. How lovely, Rachel. That's appealing, isn't it? A glass, or maybe just a square. What's a square? Is that called a skylight? Is it the square? Some people just have a window like that. It's not big enough, though, is it, Rachel? Wouldn't be big enough. You know, you can only see that little square of stars. I mean, if you can't see the whole roof under a glass roof, I mean, how are you supposed to see a meteorite coming towards you? Huh? Oh, you've got to watch out for those, my love. Meteorites are coming at me left, right and centre tonight. I like that idea. A glass roof. Of course, you'd have to have some sort of blinds on there, wouldn't you? Wow. Has anyone got one of those? Has anyone got house? House with glass roof. Let's type that in and have a quick look. House with glass roof. Oof. Yes, there's loads. Of course, not celebrities. What are they called? Conservatories. Conservatories. Wow. Someone's got one in the kitchen now. I can't show you the pictures, unfortunately. House with a glass roof. I'm sure that wouldn't be a cheap thing to do, I would imagine. I think I'd kind of go for really a flat glass roof. Would you see more a flat or... Oh, it doesn't make any difference, does it, if it's glass? Presumably you'd have to have special glass. What about when there's house stones? You know, smash the roof to pieces, wouldn't it? You could have a body flying through there, couldn't you? You know what I have on Friday the 13th? Do you remember when that body flies through the kitchen window at the beginning? I love it. I'll never forget going to see that film. I was 16. I was terrible. Me and my mate, we were screaming our heads off. First horror film I went to see at the cinema, that is. I like that. Ollie K says some people prioritise their money on the wrong things. Yeah, you're right there. And Ollie says, I think I would be lobbed out for trying to lob my sister out. You've got to get the big room, Ollie. Fran says it's £2 for Lotto now and £2.50 for Euro Millions. It just keeps going up and up, doesn't it? Very, very expensive. John, how does such a famous celebrity like you avoid the press, dear? What's your secret? Oh, I go out in disguise. I usually go around looking like a tramp. I mean, you ask my neighbours what I look like when I go around and do litter picking. I don't look like this. One of my other neighbours, he's a lovely bloke, Phil. He's the one that... Oh, there's two of them, actually, in my road, back at the house, that fix cars. You know what I mean? And he's out there, and he called me across one day. I think I told you this, didn't I? He said, hey, Chris, what's that video stuff you do? I said, oh, you haven't come across that, have you? He said, no, my boy suddenly came across it. He typed in Bracknell, and one of your videos come up. He said, I've had a look. He said, it's really funny. And I said, I bet the people don't know what he looks like when he's around here. I only dressed up for you lot, you know. John says bird poo on a glass roof, not pretty. No, I mean, if it was a glass roof, little sods wouldn't be able to cling onto that, would they? Like they do on my caravan roof, banging away. First thing in the morning, running up and down. I think they're trying to wake me up, these pigeons. Anyway, that's the story there. Myself, what would I have? Absolutely, first thing in my head, swimming pool. I'd love my own swimming pool. Now you can do these swimming pools. They're very small actually, and they have a pump at the end. And this pump throws water at you, and you swim against it. So you don't need a long pool. But I think I'd rather have a long, proper-sized swimming pool. I don't know how long. You wouldn't get one the same length as what you've got at the council swimming pools that I use. But of a decent length. I'd like my own swimming pool. The length of my house probably, I don't know, I think that's probably not long enough for a swimming pool. I'd have to have one of those pumps things at the end, what you swim against. But that's what I'd have, my own swimming pool. Oh, it'd be lovely, that would, wouldn't it? You know, no having to share the water with dirty, smelly people. And have to share the showers, would you? Dirty showers. Well, you wouldn't walk into a shower in the municipal swimming pool and there'd be someone's hair on the floor. Oh, no. Not nice, dear. I'd love my own swimming pool. And I think that's probably about the only thing, really. Yeah, I think that would be the only thing. You're probably thinking, I bet you'd have a television studio in there. No, I don't think so. I mean, this kind of works quite well. We've got a better picture sometimes than GB News. It's just amazed me how bad GB News was when it first... It's got a lot better now, but they're not doing anything in the ratings, you know. I saw some ratings earlier, and they do appear to be losing the people they gain. So I don't know if it will last or not. I think the thing is with the GB News, the problem there is that they don't have a news bulletin. You know, you've got to flick back across to Sky or the BBC or even Russia Today or something like that, you know, for the news, because they don't do the news. You don't do a bulletin at the top of the hour. And I think that's possibly one of their biggest setbacks. Talking of housing, you know, you too can have a house, okay? You can have a house if you've got a job, but you've got to make sacrifices. Now, when I bought my first flat, which was on the Margaret Thatcher priority thing, you know, where they were selling off the council flats, and that's what I bought. And it was £24,500. It was in Wandsworth, and I had to save up £4,000. No going out, not doing any of that. No, saving. Didn't buy anything for myself until I saved this £4,500 deposit, because in those days you had to save a deposit. This is way before all these 100%, 110% mortgages. Giving the money away, weren't they? Giving it away. No, we had to save up, and we had to prove to the Halifax Building Society that I could save. That's how it worked then. But you've got to make sacrifices. And this is the thing. People don't seem to want to make the sacrifices anymore. If you want that, you can't have that. Or you can't have that in as much as you want. This girl's done it. She saved £2,200 in 6 weeks. How did she do it? Well, she lived off packet noodles. Didn't go shopping. She wanted a home, £325,000, which is a lot of money for a flat, but it's probably in one of the cities. It says in The Sun, after 5 years of saving, first-time buyer A.A. Luwa Adigan finally had enough money for a deposit, but a last-minute change in her mortgage lender's affordability criteria left her £2,200 short. Just imagine that. So you've got your 5 years, you've got the money, you're ready to go, and suddenly the building society or the lender, whoever it is, suddenly says, "Oh, actually, you're £2,000, £200 short." Oh, that must do your head in. But she weren't going to miss out. Determined not to miss out, this 26-year-old lady made a last-minute scramble to raise the extra funds, and she did it in just 6 weeks. Now, no one's asking you to live on pot noodles for 5 years, but you see what you can achieve if you put your head to it. If you've got a job and you've got decent money coming in, I'm not talking huge amounts of money, just a normal level of money coming, you can probably afford a house, but you've got to put your head to it. She says it wasn't easy, and the secretarial assistant banned herself from spending any cash she didn't need to, living off packet noodles to cut down on her food bill. Like many first-time buyers, Ayulua, I think it says, had taken out a mortgage in principle to give her an idea of what she could afford to borrow if she put down a 5% deposit. I can't. What would have been my deposit then? Someone work out. But anyone good with percentages? Because I'm not good with that. So I had to save. I remember I had to save £4,500 for a house that cost £24,500. Flat in Wandsworth. Same flat now, probably worth about £350,000. Do I wish I'd have held on to it? Absolutely not. No, I didn't like it. Well, it was all right to live in, yeah. Certainly didn't want to stay there. I knew it was a stepping stone to a house outside of London with a garden. She worked out that her £20,000 would easily cover the £16,250 deposit on a £325,000 flat, leaving her with some cash to purchase furniture. She made an offer on the first flat that was accepted, but when she applied for the mortgage for a broker, the lender had changed its affordability criteria. You see, stuff changes, you know, you never know when it's going to change. Only Boris might come on the telly tomorrow and completely change his mind about next Monday, mightn't he? Things change. It's just how it is. That's why you won't catch me going on a plane anytime soon. Old Alex Belfield, I was watching him this afternoon. Perhaps, Fran, you would have seen this one. And he was just about to get on a plane. Ryanair. He was about to get on a Ryanair plane to come back home because he's been on holiday. Alex Belfield is a very popular YouTube host. Used to work for the BBC as well. And he was saying, he said, if you're going to get on a plane, make sure you get everything right. Forms, tests and everything. Because if you haven't, you ain't getting on that plane. He said he's at the airport. People are losing their heads because they won't let them on the plane because they've got something wrong or a form incorrectly filled in or something like that. They are not mucking around, he was saying. So if you're going on a plane somewhere, wherever, he was coming back. And you just imagine being away somewhere and not being able to get back home. It's even worse than not being able to get. I'd rather not get there in the first place, wouldn't you? Imagine being at the airport. So you can't come on a plane. You got a test missing. Well, what do you do? I mean, can you go for a test at the airport there and then? I mean, I don't know. You know, when you check in, what is it? I think they ask for 3 hours now, don't they? So if you was to get to the front of that queue, you haven't got a test or a form. I suppose you've got 3 hours to sort that out. Can you do that in the airport? Or it just depends what airport you're in, doesn't it? Maybe if you're somewhere like I don't know, Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris or Heathrow Airport in London. You know, maybe if you're somewhere there, maybe they have little testing places there where I'm sure for an extortionate amount of money you can go and have your test and that will do it. But what if you're in some tiny little airport, you know, on the outskirts of Mombasa? I bet you couldn't have it done there. Frightening, not being able to get home. Anyway, back to this story. The lender would only agree to give her a loan if she put down 6.8% deposit to reduce her level of risk as a borrower, but it meant she had to stump up another £5,950 for a deposit. Even with her remaining savings, she was £2,200 short. With only 6 weeks left before she was due to complete on the house, she put everything she could into raising her funds. I mean, what a top marks to this lady. She saved nearly every penny of her pay for October and November to scrape together enough cash and lived off just under £200 over a 6-year period. She managed to do this by living off packet noodles, ditching meals out and postponing buying her dad a birthday present to raise the funds. Now, the meals out thing, I get that. It is expensive to eat out and it doesn't matter. Whether you're going to McDonald's, every time you go to McDonald's, how much is that? That's about £10, isn't it? £9. Let's call it £9, right? You know you can buy a loaf of bread and 3 cans of baked beans from Aldi for that lot would cost you about £2. How many meals there? 3 cans of baked beans and a loaf of bread. How many meals have you got there? 4? 5? For £2 instead of £9 at McDonald's. I get that whole eating out thing. I don't really like going out and buying stuff in restaurants. You don't really see me going to restaurants. Yeah, okay, I do that afternoon tea thing, although I haven't done that for over a year now. You know, but that's not. It's not the same. That's a different thing altogether. The afternoon tea. That is a very special treat thing. But I know people, and they're always going out for a meal. Or they get take-ins. So takeout's all the same as well. You know, we'd go Indian, Chinese, pizza. You know what it costs to order something from bleeding Domino's. Unless, of course, it's 2 Tuesdays or whatever it's called. We get 2 for the price of 1. You still say goodbye to 25 quid. 25 quid on a bloody pizza. They got pizzas in Aldi, I kid you not, 68 pence. And if they are the same ones that I had some years ago, they are beautiful pizzas. 68 pence. Oh, that's what this lady's done. Now she's got a house. It was worth it in the end as Ayoluwa, I can't say her name. She moved into a new build flat in January this year. She's on the Help to Buy equity loan scheme, which sees the government lend up to 20 or 40% of the flat to the value of your property. It's interest-free the first 5 years, meaning her mortgage repayments are about £511 a month, which I suppose that's not too bad, is it? You know, not too bad. I have to say, I'm not getting £500 a month. I'm just about getting £500 at the moment from my one DJing job. Although, of course, you know I'm a landlord. I've got rents coming in, but stuff keeps having to go out at the moment. Oh, it's not so bad as it was at the beginning of the year. Do you remember the beginning of the year? These bleeding bills kept coming. Thousands. Well, it seems to have stopped now, for now. Touch wood. Oh, dear. A 2-bedroom flat is in Bexley in London. So good luck to her. So you see, if you want something that is a price, maybe it's not a house, maybe it's like a really flash car. I personally don't desire anything. If I was to have any car I wanted and you could pay for the running cost, it would probably be a Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce or a Bentley. I don't want a Lamborghini covered in little diamonds or anything as vulgar as that. A classy car. Something you would see James Bond in, you know. That's what a nice Bentley. I think a Bentley rather than a Rolls Royce, actually. Something like that. I don't really desire anything expensive. But if you want something expensive, you can probably save up for it, you know. Evening to Shania Steele. Good evening, Shania. Hello, darling. All right, welcome to the show, darling. Mark Bowles says, why is the hair... Oh, why is it that the hair is always brown and curly? I'd have my own... What hair? What, the one in the swimming pool changing rooms? Oh, don't, dear. It is, isn't it? It's right. He said if he could upgrade his house, he'd have his own pub. Is it BQR? What's BQR? Pub BQR. Is that barbecue? And sports room. I quite like the idea of the sports room, Mark. Perhaps you could have loads of your mates down there at the sports room, bending over that pool table in their grey trackies. That'd be quite a nice look, wouldn't it? Yeah, just a suggestion there. Thank you, Mark. Have I just closed the text message? There we go. John says, I bet she weighs 3 stone when she moved into her flat. Or maybe she's got a point there, John. I could go and buy some pot. What is it? She lives on pot noodles and something else, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was now. I don't know if pot noodles are good or not really for you, are they? Pot noodles good? Where's the email address? Let's put the email address up. Is the email address up there? Oh, it's up there already. Let's swap to the phone. I swap that now and again. There should be a little way on there that the thing there can rotate from phone number to email and stuff like that somehow. All right. What else is on the show tonight? Let me have a little look there. Where's my list of things that I'm going to talk about today? I'm glad you enjoyed the makeup video there. If you missed it, it is on the main page there, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Just go down to the post below this one and you'll find makeup show, okay? And that's the 2 kids doing my makeup yesterday. A high-tech toilet that could be dangerous. Now, we've got a picture of this one, actually. A picture of a high-tech toilet. Here it comes. There you go. How's that? Now, I'm a bit concerned about that thing at the back there. Does it stick straight up? Or does it remain in that position there? It doesn't look very strong to me, you know? I mean, if you had a really fat ass and it was hanging down a bit in that hole, you could break that bit of plastic off, couldn't you? Seems to be like a toilet with a combined bidet. I've never ever used a bidet. Has anyone used a bidet? That's one of those words. We were talking about that this morning on the radio show. You know, English words, right? With letters that shouldn't really be there, like a bidet. Why has it got a T on the end? Well, these are the toilets, and they're saying that they're not very good for you. It says high-tech electric toilets that use water jets to squirt water at users' bottoms are reservoirs for antibiotic-resistant superbugs. Maybe that's where the slug came from. Has someone got one of those toilets in one of these caravans? Slugs in the air conditioning. Only one. I shall check again tonight before I go to bed. Don't want one of those dropping down into my mouth. Well, apparently these things are reservoirs for antibiotic-resistant superbugs, a new study warned. The futuristic toilets are commonly used in Japan. And anyone been to Japan? I bet John's been to Japan and other parts of Asia, and use water to clean users' bottoms, replacing the need for toilet paper. I mean, maybe that's what we should all be doing, having a bidet installed. Can I just ask, is the water warm when it comes out? Because that could be a terrible shock, couldn't it? You know, you're sitting there, you've finished your business. I don't know how this works now. And then, is it like a powerful spray? Is it powerful? Is it like putting a hose on? Is it a bit like that? You push a button and I wouldn't want it cold. Similarly, I wouldn't want it hot. What if it's too hot? You'd burn your insides, wouldn't you? Wouldn't be able to have anyone go near that for weeks after that. Well, a couple of hours anyway. The futuristic toilets commonly used in Japan. Researchers from the Tokyo Medical... Have you ever seen one of these? Let's have a look. Ever seen one of those? Researchers from Tokyo Medical University Hospital have discovered multi-resistant bacteria called Pseudomonas. Oh, I can't say it, dear. MDRP, there you go. On water jet nozzles on electric toilets in hospitals in Japan. Worryingly, this could increase the risk of dangerous germ transmission along with patients, according to the team. It's the first report of hospital transmissions associated with electric toilets and could have major implications for infection control. I suppose so. Well, you can get coronavirus from one of those toilets. You know, what if someone has bent their head while holding onto the toilet? Reminds me of being in a little cubicle once. Anyway, what if someone's bending their head over that toilet, holding onto the side of the toilet, right? And they're sick, right? And they've got coronavirus, okay? And then they go home, and then you go and use that toilet, and then the spray, it'll spray coronavirus up into your bottom. Very dangerous. Don't laugh. Very dangerous. This needs to be informed to the Prime Minister. I think it needs Chris Whitty out there with one of his... Next slide, please. Thank you. Hello? Next slide, please. They need Chris Whitty and the fat bloke with the glasses. I quite like him. Very intelligent man. Far more intelligent than I will ever be. I like Chris Whitty as well. Bit odd character. Very unfair what those boys did to him, but... Actually, I think we're just having a bit of a laugh. Still not fair, though, because he's a bit odd, isn't he? Chris Whitty. They're highly, highly intelligent people. Highly intelligent people. He needs to be on this. He needs to be on this. I don't want coronavirus in my bottom. Oh, there's a phone call coming in. Wonders will never cease. Good evening, Daniel Woodhouse.
Yeah. Am I there?
Yes, you are. Isn't that interesting? You're straight on tonight. You're straight on tonight because I finished the story. Have you ever sat on a bidet?
No, I've never had the... Well, I could ask Mum when she gets back in, but as far as I'm aware, I've never been on one.
You've never sat on a bidet? No, I mean, I haven't.
No, we've never been in those places.
No, I've never been. They don't have to be posh places. You know, other places have, some certain countries have them as sort of normal in hotel rooms and places like that. I don't think you find one in a travel lodge. Or a hostel. Yeah. Hostel, you know, with students. I don't think any of them use toilet paper, even students. They stink.
Yes, and I don't even think they had one at the Merton Hotel, Jersey, back in '92.
One of the what?
The Merton Hotel, Jersey, that's where we was in '92.
Oh, was it? Right, okay.
And it was so posh, but I don't remember there having a bidet.
No bidet. Oh, how disappointing. Well, I don't think they had them in 1992, did they?
Yeah, or as we called them in London, B-Day, you see. In London, we call them B-Day.
B-Day?
Because it's 2 days before... Yeah, because it reminds you of the Second World War, you see, because B-Day is 2 days before D-Day.
Oh. You and your jokes, Daniel. I do hope that at some point in the not too distant future, you will tell us a joke that we laugh at.
Oh,
Anyway, I'm glad you
well,
called in because I fancy a mint. Off you go.
yeah,
Chat away.
yeah. So,
Can I
Mr.
just
You
ask,
know
your
who?
birthday? Tell us about your birthday. I was hoping to sing to you on Sunday, but I think you were engrossed in the football.
Yeah, nothing much. It wasn't the greatest birthday of birthdays, and I'm not putting the football in that at all.
Yeah.
Things happened, and
Did you get a
the rest
script?
of the
Did your mum get you a stripogram or something like that?
No, she would
Oh.
never suggest that.
Oh, how disappointing.
Certain friends of mine have, and I've told them to get stuffed, basically.
Pardon?
Never, ever. I would never want anyone to put their money on that sort of thing for me.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's
No,
a
if
shame,
you know,
because a few of the people watching the show did text in and suggested that we all club together to send a girl round to your room one night. I mean, Katie
No.
Price was mentioned, actually, but she was with her boyfriend that night. We were going to try and get her to come round to your house with the new teeth.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean. You know, what you would have sent a girl round to my house. I want a girl who's going to actually be the girlfriend, the future, the future Mrs. Woman who I'm going to have a relationship with.
Oh, yeah, but
You know.
you get all the... Oh, my sweet has just dropped out my mouth. I'm glad it was a slug. Yeah, well, I mean, the trouble is once they move in, then they want to rearrange stuff and you start getting all the row and they're a bit miserable a lot of the time, some of them, Not all of them. None of my viewers are miserable. But they start and then they start wanting to run your life, telling you what to do. And then when you won't do what they say, they get very upset and start throwing things around. Knives come out, you get locked in the toilet and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and a woman tantrum, you could call it.
Oh, yeah.
But talking of women, I have had...
Oh, well, stop there.
New.
Can I just stop you there? We don't want to know these details. My God, I can't believe it. Good job I stopped you at that point. You just said, talking of women I've had. It's a good job I stopped you there.
You never let me say what I've had.
Pardon?
You never let me say what I have had.
Oh, I am not sure that we want to know. This is a family programme.
It's only a Facebook thing.
Pardon? What do you mean it's only a What are you talking about? The show?
A Facebook thing. What's happened to me?
What's a Facebook thing? Oh, thank God for that.
New...
I thought you were saying that this show that we do here with millions of viewers all over the world was just a Facebook thing. Sorry, I didn't let you finish. I must apologise. Please accept my apology in advance. Carry on.
Yes, I found a group called... You've heard of the Undateables?
Yes.
Well, this is called the Outsiders.
Right.
It's like the Undateables, only you don't get all your business splashed around a national television network.
Oh, right, okay.
And
what, is it like a private group, is it?
Yes, you've got to be specially accepted into this Facebook group. It's not one of those that anyone can get into.
Right.
It's like an exclusive club.
Do you think I would get into it?
And you'd have to go on their own actual separate site and fill out the questionnaire.
Oh, it's a questionnaire, right?
Yeah. All the things of like...
What sort of questions are on there? Sort of, length and width or what?
Would you let me get... Would you just let me get into it again? Because I actually want to remind myself.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was just trying to keep it interesting for other people rather than listening to you just ramble on. Carry on then.
Yeah, because I saw the questionnaire last night, obviously when I had to fill it in my own self. And even a couple of the questions they were asking was a bit, I got to put like pass or no comment.
Were they rude? Were they rude questions?
Well, things like sexual orientation and no, I think they was taking it a different way.
Have you decided what you are yet?
Well, normal. First name Daniel, second name Woodhouse. Email address is at yahoo.com. postal address. Do you live in one of these areas where we have a luncheon? Yes, I did.
We get a free meal.
Yeah, well, I don't know about free, but they
Oh.
organise a luncheon every
Oh,
now
right.
and again. Phone numbers, mobile, gender.
And what did you put for
No
that?
choice. I just put male. I could
Oh.
have. I could have put in. What's that? Well, male, female, or convertible. I think is normally the three.
Convertible. What's convertible?
I think nearly going towards bisexual. I think.
Oh,
so
right.
I've been
Okay. Yeah.
told. Age and date of birth. We all know that one now. Marital status. Bloody obvious. Yeah. Sexual orientation.
Yeah.
I think I just put normal for that.
Right.
Or did I put straight? I thought no. What do you wish to gain from belonging to the outsiders, and how can we help you achieve this? I just put and girlfriend. You know,
Okay.
like you would. Are you happy to make friends with other members of both genders and communicate with them, even if what you want is intimate love? Yes.
Now, I'd be
How do
very
you feel
careful with
about
that. I'd be very careful that because there's a lot of gay blokes pick up straight men on these sites. Yeah, be very careful. I've got one very, very good friend of mine whose name come out of my mouth. But he picks up straight men from some of those sites. Be very careful if there's a so-called straight man and he starts talking to you on that site, okay? Be careful. Carry on. No, I don't do that.
How did you hear about the outsiders? Just put internet. What made you decide to join? Well, because I needed love, obviously.
Oh,
Well, what else? What?
You've just brought a little tear to my glass, haven't I? We all need a bit of love. Some people just can't get it.
Who do you live with? Well, on my own at my Romford retreat called Woodhouse Towers, and here with Mum at the Great House of Wood in Elm Park. Sorry, Chris.
So have you been to? When did you sign up to this?
Last night.
Oh right. So nothing's happened yet, has it?
Only that I've been initiated into the Facebook group.
Right.
And they've already asked me for a photo and can you? And then they come with, can you tell us more about yourself? And I think, oh God, what do they want on a Jeffrey Archer novel or something? You know, because so I end up having to give them a video message telling them just whatever I could get out of my mouth at the time, and ended up saying, I'm sorry, I'm not really very good at this sort of thing, you know.
I bet there's a few of those on there.
Yeah, there would be. I can understand.
I like to think I'm quite good at sussing out dodgy pictures of people that say they're someone and they're not really. There's a couple of little hit bits I can give you here. If they ask for your WhatsApp number, block them immediately. Very likely to be a scammer. I get these all the time from girls and boys. And it's always a dead giveaway when it's a girl because they obviously haven't looked at any of the rest of my profile. And often, if they start up a conversation, reply to the conversation with something, a question or something like that, and see if they reply to your question with an answer or they just reply with something else. Because I've caught out so many of them like that as well. Like, you know, and I can be
Deviation.
quite... Sometimes I'm very rude on there as well, I have to tell you. Just to check it out. And it'll start. It always comes from them. Hi, how are you? I'm Mary. I'd really like to get to know you. And I might put, hi Mary, I'd really like to, and then I'm quite rude, okay, to see what comes back. And usually something will come back that says, that's really interesting. I live in so-and-so. And you know they haven't read your answer. It's either a machine or someone who's just randomly taps questions at you. And that's a dead giveaway as well. From what you've said in the past about some of these... Excuse me, someone keeps flashing at me down here. What is it? I've got a piece of silver paper on the floor, and every time I sort of turn in a certain direction, it flashes. What happened now? From what you've said before, I've seen some stuff, and it worries me that you could be one of these people who are tripped up. Now, not that you've got a lot of money to lose or anything like that, but it worries me. So just be very, very careful. I don't know what this site's like, and I know you've had to send a video, presumably other people. But I could go and ask someone good-looking like one of my nephews. I could ask one of my nephews to make me a video and pretend to be me and upload that, and I'm in. You see how easy it is, all right? So just be aware, and if they ever ask for your WhatsApp number, then just block it immediately because they're dodgy. They're dodgy.
Yeah. Fortunately, my WhatsApp number is just the same as my phone number anyway. It's not
Well, they
anything
all are.
different. Yeah.
They all are.
Yeah. I want to know WhatsApp number.
Just be very, very careful there. And
Yeah.
joking aside,
No.
I'd love to think... I'd love to think that you could actually find someone on one of these sites. I really would. It would make me extremely happy if you ever found someone on one of these sites. I don't know what the success rate is. We see people in newspapers and online. You say, how did you meet? We met online. So it's not a no. It's not a no, but I don't know how easy really it is. I've not really had any luck on the online dating things. I've been on a few. I've met, in the space of many, many years, I've probably met about 3 people on these sites. So it doesn't really work for me, but that's not to say it doesn't work for other people, because it clearly does.
Yeah,
Perhaps I just don't have the etiquette. I don't know.
It is for disability as well, you see, and
Right.
that is why I've realised that it's better for me that way. You see,
There's
because
people on there with various disabilities. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, it is
Right,
sort
okay.
of yeah, and so it's because I sat there thinking like, no one, why I was no good at all that Tinder, Plenty of Fish, and all the normal sites. It's because it said that was all if they weren't fakers, they were women who seemed to all be like expecting too much.
Oh God, there's a hell of a lot of fakers on that Tinder. I was on there for a while. They're just absolutely drop-dead gorgeous blokes. Kept sending me messages, and I look at them, and straight away I think, you don't fancy me. You're not real. You're not real. And you can usually. I'm very good at being able to trip them up. Actually, I trip them up. I'm not quite sure if you could do the same thing though. That's what worries me.
Yeah, but I just think though it's just with a disability thing. If you've got 2 people with disability, they understand each other. You see.
Yes, I get that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure the understanding is going to be much better between us. You see,
Mm.
and that's why really, if I'd have known about this site, if only I'd have done what I did last night about this time last year, then I would have maybe I'd have got somewhere by now.
Maybe not. You can back try.
And seems like I always find out everything in life too late. I was a
Same
bit
here.
just like this show. Come on this show a bit late,
Well,
didn't I?
there's always that thing in the back of your mind where you think, oh, maybe it's just a bit too early and something might come about later. I mean, look at Jerry Springer. How old was he before he hit the big time? He was like well into his 60s, wasn't he? Jerry Springer, before he kind of made it. But yeah, it's just how it is, isn't it? Bit late to the party.
He's not someone who's really invaded my conscience very much. So many other people.
We wish you the best of luck with that, and I mean that quite sincerely. Do keep us fully informed of perhaps any lunches. I quite like the sound of the lunch thing. That sounds pretty genuine to me. The whole lunch thing.
Well,
You know,
Well, they've got to
is
make
it like
everyone meet.
a large group of people that meet up for lunch, or just you and someone else?
Well,
How's that
according
work?
to this, it says the Outsiders Clubhouse. It's got a nice. It's got a photo of a grand country clubhouse. It could be Wentworth Woodhouse for all I know.
Right.
No, I don't think it is. But just a minute, Mum. I'm having a sensible conversation here. I'm just saying that's what the photo looks like. Sorry about that, Chris. She's getting a bit vivacious.
Don't be
tonight.
nasty to your mother, my darling. You'll
I
regret it
try
when
not
she's
to be,
gone.
but she sounds like they're going.
So you're
Like
just
as if
saying
I'm
where
doing
these
it-
lunches are? Are they just at like normal places? Like, I mean, I don't know, like a Harvester, or do they look like they might be at expensive places? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they've got-
Would a Harvester be expensive to you? I would assume it would be.
Oh no,
That's okay.
No,
Is
we've
it a
been to
Harvester?
Harvester many times.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the one when the advert when that chef was turning the steak many times,
Oh, I don't know what that is.
and the Harvester salad cart with those croutons. And
Croutons.
the
They've all got
diced
those, the little thing of croutons. And what is that? Chopped up bits of mouldy bread, isn't it? Croutons.
Well, it doesn't have to be molten, but I suppose.
Well, they're all better than the slug coming out of my bleeding air conditioning last night.
Oh yes, but I was talking of them. What was that thing I
I
just?
think
saw?
I'll have one more mint. You've got the time, what it takes now for me to have one more mint. Carry on.
Mosh mint, right? Yeah. What was on your agenda?
Are you looking at
Tonight
my list,
about-
are you?
White dog. Blank.
White dog poo. You can say poo, that's
Yeah.
all right.
Actually, do you know what? I do remember that. Yeah, and now you've put it there. I do think, actually, yeah, you don't see a lot of that around. And then I think there was, hang on, why would I want to?
Never see it now. Do you know why?
Oh, what, there's a reason?
Yes, there's a reason.
Oh,
Looked it
yeah,
up.
yeah.
I don't know. I saw someone put it up on Facebook or something like that. It was. So why don't we see white dog poo anymore? So I looked it up, and it says on a site called jugdog.co.uk, and it said white dog poo is something people who grew up in the 70s and 80s and a little bit of the 90s will remember. I'm sure you remember it. It used to be all over the place, on pavements, parks. You'd see bright white dog poo. And why haven't we got it anymore, it says? Only people of a certain age would ask this have a question, as it suddenly disappeared overnight. And it really did. This is why. A dog's diet. That's what it is. A dog's diet has improved dramatically over the years, along with its regulations. Back in the days of the 70s, the early 90s, a generic dog's dinner consisted mostly of meat and crushed bones, which is rich in calcium and not much like fruit and vegetables. This constitution meant that dogs were ingesting too much calcium, which would come out of the other end undigested. So what colour are bones?
Whitey.
White. That's what it was. Too much calcium. The white calcium still left in the poo would be revealed once the water and organic matter goes away, and that's why dog poo was white during the 70s, 80s and 90s. And it's because dog food has dramatically changed since that time. And that's it, really. It says here is white dog poo bad. It says pale dog poo is a sign of ingesting too much calcium recently, which is not necessarily bad unless it's their normal diet and it happens regularly. Too much calcium over a period of time can lead to some serious medical complications, such as calcium deposits in the lungs, which is called pulmonary mineralizations, and calcium build-up in the urinary tract, and that's it. But that's why, because the dog's diet improved. As you asked, well, so we've done that now. I can tick that off my list of things I've done tonight. I'm very happy. So
Yes,
I've still got the mint. Carry on.
And you've
I've
said
got
it
about half
alongside
the mint
me.
left.
Half the mint left. Oh. I will say, what's happened to Roy Brownlow's tonight?
I
He
don't know.
was he actually come on last night. He said, "Oh, I've connected everything up for the DW News, DW News."
I don't. It
And
just comes on now and again. He's not if it comes on probably once every month or so. We hear from him once a month. He's very busy with his magic stuff and all that. I think does a good phone call, Roy, doesn't he? He does a very good phone call actually.
oh yes, does he come on the stage and go oh, just like that?
Oh, just like
Uh,
that. Tommy Cooper, just
I
like
went.
that.
I went to the doctors. I said it hurts when I do that. He said, "Well, don't do it." Ah, just like that.
I've been watching Tommy Cooper videos on TikTok. Very, very funny man. He did this Chinese joke. I was wetting myself. He was so funny. I can't remember what it was now. Can't
Yeah,
remember how it went.
yeah. And the thing is, every time they bring out like a best of Tommy Cooper, it's all the stuff that he's done already, isn't it? You think about it. There's no like, but I'm sure there's like so much more Tommy Cooper. There's still to be
Oh,
found.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean he is
What comes
dead,
up with
so you won't get
nonsense.
anything new.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure, there's still more stuff that we didn't know about.
I don't know if any of
You
the
know,
whole television programs are on YouTube. I discovered the other day that there are whole episodes of That's Life on YouTube, including the last ever one, which I intend to watch at some point. Oh, I really enjoyed That's Life. You may remember,
yeah.
I don't know if you were listening to the radio show yesterday morning, but I did find the That's Life theme tune, so I've now got that as a bed. Ba 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 ba. The old trumpets going along now. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Anything else quickly now, because I've finished my mint.
Oh, the Cooper thing. Yeah, there is actually 2 episodes of It's Tommy Cooper. It was a London weekend.
This is London Weekend Television, coming to you from our studios on the South Bank. Your weekend, ITV. Bing, 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 ba 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 ba, da 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 dun da da dun. Ask me for that tomorrow morning, I might play it for you. Or if it's on my system here, I can't think if it's on my system here actually.
Oh, yeah, that's lovely.
All right.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Thanks for calling in. Let us know what happens with that site, and be
Yes,
careful. Don't
of course.
send any money to anyone. I mean that.
Yeah.
No PayPals, no bank transfers. If anyone asks for money, block them straight away. End of. Don't
Of course I
enter
will,
into
because,
conversation.
yeah.
Stop the conversation and block them. Don't say goodbye. Just block them straight away, Dan. We are actually
Yeah.
caring for you on this program, and I bet there's people out there now watching this now who I bet there's not one single person that doesn't feel that way about you being ripped off on one of these sites. So be very, very careful. All right?
Okay, thank you very much, Chris.
Lots of love to you, Dan. Cheerio now.
See you then.
Bye now. Bye. You know, there's some people out there who just deserve a bit of love, don't they? He's one of them. He's one of them. He deserves to find someone. Oh, that's gone a bit wrong there. Hang on a minute. Why are you hearing that? You shouldn't be able to hear that. Oh, there we are. I've got a button push there. Just some of your messages there. Sorry, it's a little bit late coming to your messages while we're chatting away to someone. I always like to give the person on the phone my full attention. It's the same if I'm like talking to someone or doing something, you know. For example, you know, when we're doing the videos with Evie and Harry last night, I noted when we did the first video when we were playing the games, she was so concentrating on your messages coming in that she's like missing the game. So that's why we said last night, you know, we'll have a look at the messages afterwards and we'll just do the show. So like, very important to give that person your full attention. Adrian says, good evening, Chris. There's a trendy Japanese restaurant opposite O'Neill's in Chinatown that has smart toilets. Or I might just go there. Trouble is, I don't like Chinese food, Adrian. You know, would they just let me go and use... Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Japanese restaurant in Chinatown. Well, that don't work, does it? Oh, I tell you what I saw on Twitter today. Apparently, there's someone, I don't know, UN or something, someone international, who accidentally said something about the Olympic Games, something Chinese, and of course it's Japan. You know, oh, Christ. Cool, you would have thought the world ended. It was just a mistake. Just a mistake. You would have thought the world had ended when you saw this Twitter thing going on. The man made a mistake. It's easily done, isn't it? Oh, dear. Anyway, yes, Trendy Japanese restaurant opposite O'Neill's in Chinatown. You see, trouble is I don't like Japanese food. Would they just let me use the toilet, do you think? You know. I just want to see what it's like. I'll have a mask on. I don't want to breathe in terrible things coming out of that toilet. Thank you very much. Mark says, I can't read that, Mark. How rude, darling. I would have that sewn up specially for you. People are wondering what you say now. Sherry says, we've been to Japan. There you go. We've been to Japan, Chris. I love their toilets. You just have to press the button and voila. You can control the temperature, the pressure. No need for tissues. Well, you've got to dry it off a little bit. You don't want a wet bum. You know, there'd be a mark, wouldn't there, Sherry? There'd be a mark in your trousers. There's certain places I've come out of. I'm not surprised there wouldn't be a mark in my trousers. No need for tissues, she said. You've got to have a bit of tissue soily to dry it afterwards, haven't you? Or does it... Don't tell me it's got an air dryer as well in there. So first the water jet pops up there. And then does a little hair dryer come out afterwards and dry it off? I want one. I want one of these toilets. What a shame. I've just had my toilet repaired at home. I could have had it changed there and then and saved on the call-out fee, couldn't I? Sherry says, houses and hotels in Italy have got bidets as well. My relatives' houses in Milan has got a bidet. Even France has got them. Yes, I know they're pretty popular in European countries, aren't they, those bidet things? Don't remember seeing them in America at all, or Australia. John, here we go. On the subject of the slugs, or slug, coming out my air conditioning, critters will climb up your condensation pipe, dear. Is that right? Gosh, maybe I need some sort of... Do I need a little filter on the end? Stop them going up there? I remember what I tell you what I did have. Where that pipe is, okay, there's a condensation pipe and the two pipes coming from the air conditioning. And there's like a large conduit on the side of the caravan. It goes all the way down. And shortly after it was installed, my nephew was round and he's having a little look at the installation. And he says, look, all that black mess on the floor there. And there was little bits of rubber. I said, where's all that come from? He said, you've got mice or something chewing away at the air conditioning. Insulation around the pipes. He said, I bet they've got up there. I said, you reckon? I said, they wouldn't have got up there. He said, I bet they have. Open it. Well, we opened it and didn't get all the way to the top. About halfway up, all this insulation around the pipes had been chewed. And I had to go down to B&Q and buy some more insulation, cut that bit off. I know, I was surprised I did it myself. I cut that bit off and put the new insulation. Unfortunately, it was slightly wider than the old one. So then I tried, you knew something had to go wrong, didn't you? So when I tried to click back the conduit thing, because it's quite big, this thing, it wouldn't stay together. So I just got some cable ties and like that, and that kind of worked. I then covered the bottom of the pipes where they go up with black gaffer tape. Fixes fantastic gaffer tape and no more nails. That's all you need. And I put that over it, and they've never gone back up again. You know, now and again I do check out there to see if anything's been chewed. I also put down some mouse traps, and we caught a few little mice there. But of course, you know, I'm next to a field here. You know, probably the field in front of me is absolutely full of little mice and things like that. What we need is a cat. That's what we need. I'll have a field day, the cat. Trouble is, they bring in presents, don't you, cats? Birds and things like that. Well, stupid birds shouldn't land in my garden then, should they? Anyway, yes, that's what's happening. The critters are climbing up the condensation pipe. I think what I need to do, actually, I did read up a little bit on this. There's not a lot about this slug business. But someone had put on there, yes, something about pipes or something. What you need to do is open the air conditioning unit and pour bleach down the condensation pipe checking it comes back out the other end. Okay? Then you know it's not blocked and it will kill anything else, which hopefully will drop out. But maybe you could get a piece of stiff electrical wire and poke it all the way down just to check there's nothing in there, couldn't you really? Once it comes out the other end, you know you're all right. So I might do that. John says bidets are a French invention, so they don't pronounce the T. Bidets. Danny probably thinks they are for washing your socks in. Do you, Danny? Mark, you need a slap tonight. You need a slap tonight. Tina, it's him. I wish I could show you some of these messages that come from Mark Bowles. Shania, you'd have a heart attack, darling. Vera says, can you please tell Daniel to be careful with people with disabilities? I almost got caught with one girl who had a manic depression and was suicidal, but she didn't tell me, and we were chatting for over a month. She told me one day when she said that she had to take her pills. I'm not saying that everyone is like that. Yes, you've got to be so careful with these dating sites, I think, really. You know, I think the trouble, I think my problem is as you get older, you become even more careful. When you're a bit young and carefree, you don't take the risk. You know what I mean? Andy says, when I was about 11 years old, I was walking to school with Mum and came across white dog poo, not knowing what it was. I picked it up and said to my mum, look what I found. Oh, God. She shouted, oh, my God, son, put that down now. And she poured apple juice into my hands to clean them, as it was the only wet thing we had. Fancy picking up the dog poo, honestly, what you like? Now, listen, I know some of you don't stay for the whole show. Can you do me a favour tonight? When you've finished with me, give Ross Patzelt a go, will you? He's on ReachOnAir. Now, I don't think I've got Ross's poster here. Let's use mine. There we go. See that ReachOnAir.com there? That's all ready for tomorrow. Ignore that date there. It's ready for tomorrow morning. Yes, ReachOnAir.com. Can you give Ross Patzelt a little listen later? And please send him a message, okay? Because he don't think many people listen to his show. I'm not convinced of that at all. I just think, here it is, ReachOnAir.com, all right? So he's on there now, and he's on till 11 o'clock. He does 9 till 11. So if you stay with me for the rest of the night, you know, give him a try later on after I've finished. And please send him a message. It does make you feel quite good when you get a little message. It's a nice thing to do. And you don't get many messages. But that doesn't mean there's not many people listening. You know, I've always said to you, you know, you can't base a show on messages because you might not have any. Right? You know, I could quite happily sit here for 2 hours and do a show. No messages. No problem. No problem. But some people do rely on messages, and it's nice to have one now and again. So do us a favour and just send him. You could send him a little message now if you wanted to. You can bring up the ReachOnAir player and send a message, you know, to my mate Ross Patzelt. He's a lovely bloke. He really is. He's trying to move at the moment. I think I don't know how far along. They did see a house that they liked because he's got a little girl. 8 years old she is. I can't believe she's 8 years old. He's 8 years old. She's 8 years old, his little girl. And they're trying to move to a bigger place. All right. Why did they take their medals off? Well, I wasn't sure of the purpose. I didn't judge immediately, I must admit. I think I've got a picture here somewhere. There you go. There's your picture. Now you can see there clearly the England boys there. That one at the front there. I'm sorry, I don't know the name. The only one I know of name is Marcus Rashford. He's the one. There's a bloke in green. There's a bloke in a white T-shirt behind him, and he's the other one with a white T-shirt in front of the bloke with the red T-shirt. I know that's Marcus Rashford. But they took the medals off. And I wasn't quite sure whether or not this was a thing or whether they were just being disrespectful to the other team. But there's a bit in the Daily Mail about this. What do you think? Is that like losers being bad sports, do you think? Or is it just like a normal thing that they do? Because the paper reports England football supporters are divided over whether the England's team should have removed their runners-up medals at last night's or Sunday night's Euro final at Wembley as soon as they were awarded them, with just 7 stars keeping them on after the Three Lions crushing defeat by Italy. Well, crushing defeat. What, by 2? Please. It's not exactly a crushing defeat, is it? I think that was really unlucky. I am not a football person. I don't like football. Right? I really don't. Listen, we played a big game. And they played extra time. And there was still no winner. So it went to penalties. And in my mind, when I look, I know nothing about football. But when I see people taking penalties, I think there's a large element of luck when it gets to that point. All the intelligent playing in that is when you're on the field playing the game. Once you get to penalties, I think there's a big element of luck there. Because you don't really know what way that player is going to kick that ball. And similarly, that player, the goalkeeper, doesn't really know what way he's going to play. He can guess, I suppose. Similarly, the goalkeeper, the player doesn't really know which way the goalie is going to jump to save it. I think there's a very large element of luck in penalties. I really do. But that's the game. That's the game, right? Well, England came second. A lot of them took their medals off, except for just 7 of them. It says most of the players appear to remove their medals literally just moments after receiving them, as you saw in the picture there, to mixed reactions from their fans, with some slamming, disrespectful and unsporting. Others insisted it is standard practice to remove runners-up medals at sporting contests. Well, if it is, I never knew that. Did you? When you're watching it on the telly, it does look, that's a bit ungrateful. I mean, you've won a medal. Okay, so you're not first. You're second. You don't see, like, Tom Daley when he gets silver or bronze. He doesn't always win, does he? He don't take his winning thing, whatever that is. What do they get, a medal or a little badge or something? He doesn't, like, immediately put it to the side or take it off. He has it on. Not quite sure where he clips it. Perhaps on his little bottom. Did it seem disrespectful to you? According to this, it's quite a normal thing there. Die-hard Three Lions fans defended the players, with one supporter tweeting, "Hardly childish is the mentality of the fact that they still lost. Why wear a medal for second place?" And I kind of get that. But apparently, according to the Daily Mail, it's quite a fairly normal thing to take off if you've got second place, which I didn't know. John says they wanted the winners' medals, that's all. That's what John says. Lee Toby, thank you, Lee. So you boys will know, and girls, I'm sure will know a lot more about sport. I've never followed sport, really, never. It just doesn't interest me. I do my swimming, my walking and my cycling, but I don't actually watch any of it on the telly. Lee says it's quite normal in sport, Chris. You go there to win, and they didn't. I don't find it disrespectful. Thank you very much, Lee, for that. Maureen says, put some Vaseline on... Oh, I wondered where you were going with that, Maureen, my love. We're going back on the air conditioning. Put some Vaseline on the pipe to deter slugs and snails from climbing up. The same. You can do it on your plant pots as well. Well, I never knew that. Well, they'd just slide straight off, wouldn't they, Maureen? That Vaseline. Must be very careful with that stuff. It rots rubber, my darling. Andy says cricketers and rugby players that take their medals off as well, Chris, if they're runners up. So I didn't even know that. So thanks very much for letting us know there. So they're not saying it's really disrespectful, are you there, my loves? All right. Okay, let's move on. Oh, let me just check my emails. Any emails today? No emails today. Everyone's texting today. You join in as you want, you know, either emails or texts. Trains. I mentioned right at the beginning of the show, I do like a ride on a train. I'd quite like to go on a train holiday, really. My Auntie Brenda and her husband in their later years did train holidays. Great, really. Walking up and down there, you get your dinner on the train. It must be lovely doing that. I think, was it Andy or Gary? Someone sent me something about having afternoon tea on a train. You can do that, like on the Pullman or something like that. Not a cheap afternoon, okay? But it's not just the afternoon tea. It's the whole experience of being on there like this very high-class train. I'd like to do something like that. The Daily Mail reports a new luxury train concept, so this doesn't exist yet, which features 1,300 feet of panoramic glass windows and sides that fold down to create occasional balconies, has been revealed. The brainchild of French designer, the G-Train is envisaged as a $350 million palace on rails that will elevate the railway travel experience itself. Now, there's an artist's picture of this. Check this out, look. Look at that. Wow. I can't see any windows there at all. But it's just an artistic impression. I don't know, it looks like a bit like a snake, doesn't it? It looks a bit evil at the front, doesn't it? Looks very aerodynamic, doesn't it, that train? Each of the 14 carriages will feature a smart glass windows and ceilings, which can be turned from translucent to opaque at the flick of a switch to adjust the ambience. This bloke's brought his concept to life in a series of computer-rendered 3D images, which you just saw there, showing both the outside and interior of the train's designs. We now have the inside there. That's the outside. It's got a dining car, arboretum, arboretum. I don't know what that is. I think it's like a garden, I think. It's got a garden inside. A garden inside the train. Just like on Snowpiercer. That excellent series. There's 2 series, actually, on Netflix. There's a 3rd one in the making coming along. I love that. Snowpiercer. You watch that? Netflix? And it says here, it resembles Snowpiercer on the telly. It was also a film, actually, Snowpiercer. In the film, based on 4 French graphic novels, the last survivors of humanity seek refuge on the constantly global circumnavigating train following a climatic disaster. Lower class tail end passengers lead a revolution that fights to the front of the train and its mysterious owner, Mr. Wilfred. It says that, unfortunately for railway enthusiasts, the G-Train will likely fall into similarly exclusive hands, with the bloke who's invented it saying it will be made to measure for one unique owner. And he does indeed have a garden with trees on this train and, you know, swimming pool, beautiful dining area. The pictures are fantastic. Of course, it doesn't exist yet. And they do use some of the pictures from Snowpiercer there as well. So I'd love to go on something like that, I must say. Vera says it looks like a snake. Yeah, I thought that as well. It does look like a snake, doesn't it? John Parrish, dinner on the Orient Express is lovely. I bet it is. Yeah, that sounds a lovely thing to do. Dinner on the Orient Express. See, a lot of people, John, they don't see it as an experience. All they see is the dinner. I ain't playing that much for a dinner. You know, they fail to see the surroundings and that. It's like when I go to these posh hotels for the afternoon, I can see all the surroundings. That's what you're paying for. You think you're paying all that money just for a plate of sandwiches? No, you're paying for all these staff and everything looking after you. Oh, I ain't paying that. Well, don't go then. Don't go. End of. And John says, put some Brillo pad on the bottom of that pipe. Oh dear. How are we doing? Talking of Netflix, I watched a film last night and today. It's quite good, and it's called Page 8. Page 8. It's another spy. I'm into spy films at the moment, you know. It's another spy film. Bill Nye, Nighy. How do you say that? It's not Nighty, Nye. Bill Nye, is that how you say it? Niggy? Bill Niggy? Nighy? Nig. Nye. Oh, you'd know him straight away. He's an actor with sort of long hair. He's a great actor. Great actor. He's in it. And also in it is Sir Michael Gambon, who plays a character, Benedict Barron. And basically they're working for the Secret Service, and they find out that the Prime Minister knows some secrets about the Americans who we're supposed to be friends with, but hasn't told MI5, and that's basically it. It's a really good film. So highly recommended on Netflix. Try that one if you like spy things, and it's called Page 8. Made in, it's about 10 years old, I think, 2011, 2010, 2011, something like that, all right? Highly recommended film for you there. Fran is there. Good evening to Fran, joining us today. Thanks so much to John Parrish, who's just sent me a £1 super chat. Thank you, John. Now we've got a tip tonight. See, it's worth me sitting here for that £1. Thank you, John. Very kind of you. Thank you, John. Have you noticed a very bright, large star in the sky? I noticed it last night and the night before. Where my caravan is, I face south. This star is on southeast. Is on the west, so it's on that. Rises in the east, sets in the west. Oh, hang on. Sun rises in the west. North, south, east, west. How can that be? I face south. The sun comes up that side, so it's that side. Does the sun rise in the east or the west? Hang on. So if I'm facing south. East is that way, though, isn't it? So how is it rising over there? I must have something wrong there. Oh, whatever. So I face out that way. The sun's with me most of the day, and it moves round to that side, okay? This star is on that side, and it's quite low down, okay? Because where I am at the moment in Lincolnshire, it's really big. But it's ever so big, and it's an orange colour. And I've been wondering the last couple of nights what it is. I've got my binoculars, put them and again with the binoculars. It looks really big, right? But it's not a telescope. But I came across this story this morning while I was doing a radio show. And it's a conjunction. That's why it looks so big. But they're so close together, the planets. I mean, they're not really close together, but it looks like they are. It says in the the Daily Mirror, you can get a glimpse of astronomy from the comfort of your own garden today with the rare conjunction happening tonight. So it'll be out there now. Find out how to see the Venus and Mars conjunction from the UK. Now, it's a meeting in the sky. It's a rare phenomenon where two or more astronomical objects appear close in the sky. It's going to happen tonight, so it's happening probably now, actually, when Mars and Venus will appear to move towards one each other. I mean, you don't see them moving. They're just there when you look out, right? They can happen when any planet, star or moon. It varies depending on the changing planetary alignments. Although planets in a conjunction often seem close together, this is actually an illusion, like I was just saying. In fact, the planets doing conjunctions remain many millions of miles apart and simply occupy the same space in the night sky. So to you, it looks like they're right next. I bet it's out there now. Do you mind? I'll go and have a look, see if I can see it now. I bet it's out there now. 1 minute. It's still light out there now. No, it's still light, so I can't see anything. I do know it does remain lighter up here in Lincolnshire for longer than it does. It literally 10 to 10 out there. It's still, you can't see any stars. It's still far too bright. It's not even twilight. It's really quite bright out there at the moment. But you will see this later on because I've seen it the last 2 nights. It looks like a really big orange star. Planets move slower in the sky. So planetary conjunctions are not so frequent. For instance, a meeting of Jupiter and Saturn will happen roughly once every 20 years. So they're quite close to each other. And on the 13th of July, Mars has been classified as slightly difficult to see, where Venus has been deemed to be fairly good visibility. It says, look to the western horizon just after it's getting dark. Well, that's right then. That's what I said to you. North, south, east, west. So does the sun rise in the west? Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. Someone's texted him. Maybe they're answering that. No, hang on. The sun will always rise in the east and set in the west. Well, it don't look like that to me here. It comes up that way. That's west. Mind you, if north... Oh, I don't know. I'm a little bit thick where it comes to things like that. So keep an eye on that, all right? Where is it? It says west, didn't it? It said west. Where have I got that story? There it is. In order to spot the conjunction, try looking in the western horizon just as it's getting dark at around 7:15 during mid-July. Oh, what's that then? Hang on a minute. Are they saying 13th of July here? It is the 13th of bloody July, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It says it's difficult to see. I don't agree. It was pretty obvious to me last night. It says around 19:15 during mid-July. Well, it's now 10 to 10. I can't see anything out there at all at the moment. Both Venus and Mars are expected to move gradually further apart after the 13th. Well, I've seen it the last couple of nights, and it's really bright and orange if you look out there when it's pitch black. All right, so just wait till it gets a little bit darker. Good evening to Mark Jones. Evening, Mark. Hello, Mark. He says, good evening, friend. Hope you're well, having a good week. I've just finished a shift from hell. Oh, you have been hard at work, have you? Mind the pun. Sorry I'm late. Worry not, my darling. Oh, John Parrish has just sent a message in. Oh, that makes exactly £11 to date. My God, he's even counting the bloody tips he sends through. Can't you use PayPal, please? Then I don't get charged 30%. I don't get a pound. I only get 70 pence, you know. So that's 70. I don't know exactly how much that is. I thought I just saw something right across here then. Don't say there's spiders in here as well. This place is alive. It's alive. Huh? All right. Told you about Ross Patzelt. Upgrade to the house. Lidl. Got to tell you this one. Lidl. Oh, yes, Lidl. So there's a Lidl. After I went to the swimming pool yesterday to book in, as I say, I had my first swim today. Got another one booked in for tomorrow, 10:30. I thought I'd go to Lidl because I passed it on the way. Now, there's, as far as I know, there might be more than 2. I know of 2 Lidls in Boston. Okay, there's a big one, right, and that's like where Tesco's and B&Q is, like a you know, industrial type place. A great big place it is, right? Great big car park and all that. But there's also a small one. Excuse me, I've got itchy nose. There's a small one that's not too far away from the supermarket, and it's in from the swim pool, and it's in town, like opposite Iceland, but back a little bit further. So I thought I'd go there on the way back because I wanted a few bits and pieces, right? And I went in there and parked my car. I thought it's not too busy in here, you know. Monday, was it 12 o'clock in the afternoon? Wasn't that busy. And gone round the shop, and I'm in the queue. There's always a bit of a queue in Lidl and Aldi, isn't there? But they do move fairly quickly. I'm moving into queue. And you know what it's like when you're in a queue? There was a few people in the queue, maybe 3 people in front of me. And you start looking round, don't you? You're a bit bored. Don't know what to do now. You know? Let's have a look, see if there's nice fellas for me to look at or any special offers. You know, no fellas, no special offers. And I got to the till bit and I'm putting my stuff on the revolving thing, the conveyor belt. which incidentally is not as exciting as the conveyor belt on Bruce Forsyth's Generation Game. Do you remember the tune? I can't find the music. I want a clean copy of the conveyor belt music. Vera, hello? Vera finds all these things. Can you find a clean copy that's with no talking or clapping on it of the conveyor belt music as used, as used on Bruce Forsyth's Generation Game in the 1970s? Here is the tune. Stand by. Playback. Da-da-da-da, da-da, da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da, da-da, da-da. And it's quite long, and it finishes with da 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 and a buzzer at the end. I don't mind the buzzer at the end. That's okay. See if you can find one of those. I've looked on YouTube, can't find it. You must have some contacts in the BBC, Vera, darling. I mean, what do I have to do to get these things, dear? I don't mind doing favours for people. So can we get the conveyor belt music, please? Where are we going with that? Oh, yes, I put my stuff on the conveyor belt. And as I'm there, I spotted this little sign on the thing. Don't forget to scan your receipt and enter your registration number at the checkout. And I thought, what's that for then? So I got to the front of the queue. I said, do I need my registration number for you? She said, that's right, yeah, to get the 3 hour and a half parking. I said, oh, right, well, I'm not going to be here an hour and a half. And she says, no, you need to put that in. I said, oh, well, I haven't got it. I'll have to go out and get it. She said, that's okay. Pay for your shopping here. It's that machine over there. It's self-service. Oh, right. Oh, okay then. Well, thank you very much. And then the bloke behind me obviously didn't hear what was going on then. And he said, oh, it's all right, mate. As long as you're not going to be here more than an hour and a half, you won't need to do that. And this lady says, she heard him, the girl on the tour. She said, oh, what do you mean? And he said to her, well, I asked the bloke who was here, someone the other day, I can't remember who it was, and he said, we don't have to put details in if it's less than an hour and a half. She said, no, you put your details in and then you get an hour and a half, but you have to put your details in. And on the sign it says, failure to comply, £90 fine. That'd be a bleeding expensive shop, wouldn't it? So, of course, the bloke behind me, I knew what had happened. He'd obviously been in there a few days before, parked, done his shopping and just left. But the thing is, you wouldn't notice these posters. I just happened to notice it because I had been standing in the queue and was looking for something to do and look at. So you go to this till over the side there on the packing shelf and they got these VDU terminal type things. And you put your receipt under it and it says, enter your registration number and you put it in. Is this correct? And then it tells you, my registration number. And you press yes. And then it comes up on the screen. Thank you. You now have 1.5 hours free parking. But no bit of paper. You see what I mean? It doesn't give you a little bit of paper saying you paid this. And I have a bit of a problem with that. Where is my proof? I have none. All I've got is the receipt to say that I've been in there. Right? Perhaps that would do it. And the trouble is with these parking things, they're not run by Lidl. It's the same with some of these McDonald's car parks, B&Q car parks. They're not run by McDonald's, Lidl, B&Q, whoever. They're run by private parking contractors who are out to get your money. No proof of me entering that thing. Besides, I've got a 1 in my number plate. So easy to mix that up with an I. Ones and I's, terrible, like zeros and O. Easy to mix those up when you're typing something in. Maybe I made a mistake. Don't know. What would happen if, you did and then you got this £90 fine? 90 quid! Well, to stop accidents happening, because people make mistakes, I've decided not to go there. So that's it. Lost a customer now. Idiots. You can understand why they do it, because what tends to happen apparently is that people park in this little car park and then they walk into Boston and use it as a free car park. So I do get it, but still, you know, you want some sort of receipt or something coming out, a piece of paper coming out of these machines. I'm always a bit funny with those, passports with the electronic visas. I don't like those either. You get them when you go into the States, Australia, various different countries, and you go on the internet and you apply for the American ESTA thing, don't you? Right. And then it either gives it to you straight away, or then it says, we've got to go away and check it. That happened to my mate. I got mine straight away. See, no problem in my life. No illegal things going on here, thank you very much. But check my mate out, though. Only a couple of hours, and then he got his ESTA thing. Years ago, that is. And so thank you, your electronic visa has been done. But you haven't got a bit of paper. What if you get to the airport? Oh, it's not on here. That's it, mate. Not going away. Or even worse than that, you get to the other end and something's gone wrong with their systems. Maybe they've lost your thing electronically. Get to the other end, we haven't got an ESTA. Sorry, you can't come in. End of. Nothing you can do then, is there? Mind you, that being said, I went to Australia once. I've been very lucky. I've been there 5 times to see my cousins and people like that over there. And I went through the passport thing, and I'm standing in this queue, security type queue. This bloke come over to me in a suit. Hello, Mr. Reardon. I said, yeah, that's right. Sorry, could you come over to the desk with me, please? Oh, Christ, what's happened here? What have I done? Yeah, what's up? It's nothing to worry about, sir. It's just that you haven't put your middle name on. It's not on your plane ticket. So that means it's different to your passport. And we just need to correct that now. All right, sir? And then they did that there and then, and actually he then said, okay, as you've come over and seen me, he said, don't queue up to the security. You can go straight through the exit over there now. So that was fine. No problem there, really. Maybe that would happen with the ESTA thing. I don't know. Maybe you're in the States and you haven't got your ESTA. Something's gone wrong. Maybe they can do it there or then. I don't know. Frightening, though, isn't it? A little bit like I was saying on the beginning of the show there, if you've got your vaccine certificates or whatever it is that you have to have, your test certificates, and you're coming back from one of these countries. I think Alex Belfield's in Majorca or Mallorca, something like that. Like I was saying to you at the beginning of the show, the people at the airport, they've got bits missing. They won't let them get on the Ryanair flight. And they're doing their nut. Well, you would, wouldn't you? Frightening. Thank you, Vera's on that. She's now looking, as we speak, for the Generation Game conveyor belt music from the 1970s. Right, we'll do one more story. All right, one more story. And this is bad news. I'm sorry to leave you. You're going to be devastated when you hear this, because I was. I understood that a certain thing, okay, had the second series guaranteed. No, it's not. Far from it, according to the Daily Star. Amazon primetime show, Clarkson's Farm, may have been a hit with fans, but rumours are rife that a second series may not be in the bag. Did you see the first series? One of the funniest, best things I've seen on the telly for a long time. Absolutely hilarious. I did feel sorry for him. We meant to do this actually in a previous show. Do you know how much money he made in a year of farming? Now, it was a particularly bad year. Had the coronavirus come, a lot of flooding. In 1 year, the profit on the farm was £114. I mean, thank God he's got money coming in from Amazon and various other places, because you couldn't survive on that. That was the profit on the farm after all the outgoings was £114. Jeremy Clarkson, according to the Daily Star, has addressed circulating rumours that Amazon film crews are filming season 2 of Clarkson's Farm, leaving many fans disappointed. The widely popular show has been ranked highly on Amazon Prime and left plenty of viewers hoping for a second series. The first season followed the ex-Top Gear presenter as he set up his rural farm called Diddley Squat in Chadlington in the Cotswolds. Beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful there. Clarkson has recently admitted that the farm is an expensive failure. In the final episode of Clarkson's Farm Series 1, it was revealed that the farm had made an annual profit of just £114. But sadly for many, including myself, Clarkson has taken to Twitter to reveal that Amazon has axed the show. Can't believe it. That's got to have been popular. Why have they axed it? When asked by a follower if the show will continue into season 2, Jeremy tweeted, "No, we aren't. Write to Amazon, it's their decision." Don't make sense, that. Does it? Huge show. Fans blasted back, tagging Amazon at Prime Video at Amazon UK. What on earth are you doing? Get Series 2 signed off now. It's my favourite Amazon ever made thing. Another one tweeted. Beyond the high ratings, and very high ratings for that show, you know, very high. Beyond the high ratings, Clarkson's Farm has been praised for showing the unique struggles that face the farming industry in the UK today. If you watched that show, I'm sure you learnt something about farming, because I certainly did. How it all works and that. I think more than sort of country file is a little bit too easy going, isn't it? You know. Clarkson said in one episode, "I read in the Times it's been the worst year for farmers since 1976. Fortunately, we have this subsidy that when that goes, what on earth are farmers going to do?" So there we are. It's a private farm, but there are public paths surrounding the outskirts of the farm, which no doubt people go on and trying to get photos. Fans have access to the Diddley Squat farm shop, where they can purchase farm products like jam and oil. There are also stock light-heartening produce, including that smells like my bollocks candles and milk juice. You saw them on there. So, I mean, I do hope that comes back. I really do. I really do. Gary Ross has just sent a PayPal. Thank you very much, Gary. Very kind of you, darling. People sending tips tonight. We had that the other night. Thank you very much, both of you, for sending us a little tip today. I'll put my PayPal up. It's been up just in case. Just in case there's anyone else that might want to send 50 pence through. Thank you very much, Gary. Much appreciated to you, sir. He often sends, even his missus sent me a tip the other day as well. I'm always very grateful for that. I'll do this one more story. Just one more story. Do you remember that? In the mornings we used to do it. Just one more story. And it's not on my list that I was going to talk about today. It involves little Prince George, bless his heart. You saw him at the England football game, didn't you? Prince George. And it's Lorraine Kelly. The mouthy Scottish one on ITV. She's all right, Lorraine Kelly. But she says she's criticised Kate Middleton and Prince William after they decided to dress their son, Prince George, in a suit and tie while watching England play Italy in the Euro 2020 final. That's the basics of it. And this was actually a tweet, and I was looking at various replies from people, what they were saying on these tweets. How awful it was for them to dress him in a suit. Now, I don't know if these people hadn't realised, but he is going to be a king. Yeah? It's Prince George. It's not your local ruffian come out of a comprehensive school like me. It's Prince George. Of course he's got a suit on. Are you that thick? that you don't understand why Prince George has got a suit on. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's because it's Prince George. It's like these people, you know, why should the Queen have this, that and the other? Because she's the bloody Queen, dear. Because she's the Queen and you're not. How comes Boris can do this and we can't? Because he's the Prime Minister. Oh, why can't people see that? Of course they can do things that we can't do. We are just normal people. Some of you more normal than me. Luke Trott. Sing milk, hallelujah, milk and honey for us. Why do you want me to sing that? Hallelujah, la da da. I don't know the words. Hallelujah, da 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 da. I know a bit of it. Hallelujah, the bells will be ringing. They're ringing for you and me. Hallelujah. I have to tell you, that's Great Nephew's George. That's one of his favourite songs, or it was. I've seen him for ages. Anyway, time to go. Thanks very much for joining us there tonight. Can you do me a favour and just leave me a little thumbs up on your way out there on the likes thing? Thank you to those of you that sent in a little tip tonight, John and Gary there. Thank you very much for that. My friend, as I say, Ross Patzelt is right now on ReachOnAir. Please go and listen to him. He's a great bloke. He's very ordinary. He's very lad in a pub type person, okay? And he's on ReachOnAir right now. He's on till 11 o'clock. And please send him a message as well. Have a listen to what he's got to say and comment. He's a good bloke, he is. Ross Patzelt right now on ReachOnAir. And later on, of course, you can hear our other friend Alan Ross, who's there between midnight and 3 o'clock. I'm on there tomorrow morning. 9 o'clock, reachonair.com tomorrow morning. And I'll see you again on Thursday night. Thursday night is the next chat show on this channel at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for the ReachOnAir Music and Chat Show. Good night now.